Okay, good evening, folks, and welcome to yet another presentation, which we hope will give you a really good understanding of the power of Privileged Car Club, a new car crowdfunding concept. So what we ask you to do is, spend the next 20 to 30 minutes with us. We'll be doing Q&A at the end. View what we're about to show you, please, with an open mind. So on behalf of myself and my co-host, Morel Yagis, myself, John Bone, we'd like to say thanks for jumping on tonight. And before we get started on the actual presentation, I'd like to go through a little bit of a presentation as to what I feel crowdfunding actually is. So I'm going to take the next slide and away we go. So why is crowdfunding becoming so popular? Well, it's because it enables people to do extraordinary things. Crowdfunding is not a new thing. In fact, it goes back a very, very long way. And many of you have probably already heard of it, or in fact, even taken part in it in one way or another. It's a way of pooling funds together in support of a cause, a creative project, or even a product. Crowdfunding possesses a huge, huge potential for bringing people together in ways that have never been done before. Well, they have kind of been done before. This isn't something brand new. It may seem new, but one of the first people ever to realise the actual power of crowdfunding was a guy named Joseph Pulitzer back in the 1800s, when he actually crowdfunded a little thing called the Statue of Liberty. Well, again, not so much the statue. That was a gift from the French, but they hadn't actually provided anything to stand the statue upon. So Joseph Pulitzer took it upon himself to use a little medium he owned called the New York World. And basically he urged his readership to give as little or as much as possible to help build the base of the statue. And with the help of 120,000 Americans, he was able to actually raise over $102,000, which enabled them to then go and build the base of the statue. The very same base it stands on to this very day. So that's a true show of people power, right? Well, today, with even more power, especially with the advent of social media. So this is an incredibly fast-growing space with more and more ideas being funded in this way each and every day. And let's face it, we've all heard about many of these new disruptive technologies. Companies like Just Park, where you can actually rent people's vacant parking spaces in inner cities. Or what about GoFundMe or Just Giving or Lending Club? These are places where people can donate money to causes they feel passionate about. Lending Club, they can loan money to one another, taking the constraints away from the banking authorities. And we've all heard about these bigger ones like Airbnb, who don't own a single bed and are valued at over $31 billion, or Uber, who don't own a single vehicle and valued at over $50 billion. And with cryptocurrencies and shopping portals like Amazon disrupting the banking and shopping arenas, these are really amazing industries that we as individuals should be seriously looking at getting involved with. So this is why I was super excited when I was approached with Privileged Car Club, because it's a unique concept that has the potential of helping literally thousands of people escape the chains of car finance, as well as all the associated costs of car ownership. And with this crowdfunding concept, we're now making this idea a reality, with the first free cars already being funded and having been presented last weekend at the official launch event in Birmingham. So without further ado, what I'd like to do is quickly bring across a screen, and we're going to play a quick 2.5 minute presentation. This was released just last Sunday at the launch event, and we'll be right back after this to get this presentation fully underway.
We are living in an amazing era, teeming with technology and new ideas. New concepts, together with people power, are changing the world we live in. We would like to introduce you to a revolutionary crowdfunding club concept for driving new cars, designed to help people, especially those with families. We love our cars. Most of us desire and treasure them. They are an essential part of our lives. We use them for work and pleasure. But what's the problem? Repairs, fuel, insurance? You can say goodbye to 20% or more of your income with these. Then there's depreciation, as well as the high interest on finance. That's if you can get credit. But what if we can show you a revolutionary new way to solve this problem by helping one another? With Privilege Car Club, we can. It's new and it's radical. It's an idea whose time has come. Using our unique membership program, we have found the answers to these problems by helping each other. By joining our private members' reward-based crowdfunding club. PCC plus people equals PCC cars. You don't own them, but you help fund them, so you get to drive them. There are no large deposits, no extortionate monthly interest payments, no depreciation. A small regular monthly payment takes care of all costs, except for fuel and cleaning. You just enjoy a brand new car of your choice every 2 years. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true! We already have members driving their brand new cars on the road, and we have a fast-growing membership. New cars are being added every month. All of this from our humble beginnings in August 2017 in the UK. And more countries are opening up soon. With Privilege Car Club's community membership, expensive car costs are a thing of the past. Welcome to the future. Contact a member who will help you and show you how you can drive a brand new PCC car of your choice every 2 years. Not only that, but as a PCC ambassador, you can build a career just by helping others do the same as you. This is an option available for you to choose as soon as you are driving a PCC car. Be part of the future. Be part of PCC.
Okay, hope you enjoyed that, folks. So that's our new video presentation. Morel, are you out there? What we'll do now is we will get on with this presentation.
Yeah, I'm here, John. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Okay, I'll mute out and over to you, Morel.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, good evening, everybody. Yeah, let's get this presentation underway. You may or may not be aware, but in 2017, it was reported that 20% of our income is spent on funding and maintaining our cars. That is a staggering amount of money, 20%. This affects a huge amount of people, over 200 million drivers in the United States and over 30 million drivers in the UK. Privilege Car Club will save you hundreds, if not thousands of pounds every year, freeing up more money for you and your family. Just ask yourself, would you like to drive a brand new car for £50, $75 or €60 a month? If the answer to that is yes, then you're in the right place. So before we go on to the next slide, I would just like to share with you a quote from Sir Richard Branson that I think really applies to what we have here with Privilege Car Club. He says, if you are not making a difference in other people's lives, then you should not be in business. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through the presentation. Privilege Car Club is a revolutionary new concept that is going to totally disrupt the car industry, and we have proof that this works, which we will share with you very, very soon. There's just one thing that I would like to ask each and every one of you on here tonight, and that is just to be a little bit open-minded and think outside the box a little. What we're going to do is we're going to show you a new way to finance brand new cars. You can forget the old way that typically involves car finance with high interest. You can say goodbye to those expensive loans, high insurance and costly repair bills. We've all heard of Uber, as John mentioned, Airbnb, Facebook, Amazon. These are all disruptive models that challenge the traditional way of doing things, bringing more choice and a better price to the customer. We were not invited to the launch party for Amazon or Airbnb, but with Privilege Car Club, you are invited. You are here tonight. So congratulate yourself for being on this webinar, and just think how this can change your life and how many lives you can change when you spread the word about this revolutionary car club. So let's have a look at how this actually works. Now, there are 3 simple steps. So you join via the person who shared this with you. So you join the crowdfunding club with a referral link, and you find a crowd of just 3 people. So this is a crowd of 3 people who want to do the same as you. They want to drive a brand new car, reducing their monthly outgoing. These people also are prepared to think outside the box a little bit. And they're also prepared to go and speak to another 3 people. So you work together as a team, members helping members. It's just simple duplication, and we use the systems that we have in place. So for example, these webinars that run frequently throughout the week. And also we have live meetings all over the UK, Ireland and the United States. And you use this and you work towards getting yourself qualified so that you can drive that brand new car of your choice for 2 years. So how do we get qualified? Again, we can get qualified in 3 simple steps. So I'm just going to explain to you how this works. So that's you at the front. And what you need to do to be qualified to drive that brand new car, you need to have what we call 3 direct referrals. So you have 3 people that you have introduced to the club, and you need to have 1 direct person in each of your pools. So you have 3 funding pools. So for example, if you want to go for the £20,000 package or 24,000 euros or dollars, you need to have 81 members in your funding pool. But you need to have a minimum of 20 per pool. So that would make 60 in total. And the other 21 can be spread across any of those pools. And that is to make the system as fair as possible, because once you've got your 81 members, you have enough money in the crowdfunding pot to access a funding pool, a budget of £20,000. So once you've actually qualified, if you've got a minimum of 20 in each pool, that means that those pools are at least 25% towards getting their car. So they've helped you to get your car and you're helping them in return. If you'd like to go for a more expensive car, so if you want to go for the £30,000 package or 36,000 euros or dollars, it's exactly the same principle, but you need to have 30 members per funding pool, and the remaining members can be spread across them. So you need a total of 125 members for the £30,000 package. And you need to have 3 direct referrals, 1 in each pool. You need to be a member of Privileged Car Club for at least 3 months before you can take your car. Now, what I mean by that is if you qualify in, let's say, 2.5 or 2 months, you need to have been a paid active member for at least 3 months. You also need to be 21 years of age or over. So, you've built your funding pool. That means you're now qualified. Job done. The money is there in the crowdfunding pot, and you can go ahead and choose the car of your choice. And you get to drive this brand new car, and the only additional costs that you will have will be fuel and cleaning. And you get to drive this brand new car for 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, the car comes back to Privileged Car Club. And this is how the company make their profits. This is how they become cash rich. That car is then sold on as a second-hand car, and those profits come back to Privileged Car Club. You then get, after the 2 years, you then get to take your next new car, so long as your original funding pool has been maintained. Now, if we've got any guests on the call, I understand this may be a lot of information to take in, so don't worry, we can recap this at the end. It's absolutely no problem. If you have any questions, then please just pop them in the chat, and again, we'll go through them at the end once we've finished the presentation. So let's move on to the next slide, and let's have a look at the costs that are involved when you're part of Privileged Car Club. So in the UK, when you sign up, let's say you sign up today, you will pay an annual fee of £199. Now this is totally refundable. We have a 14-day cancellation period. On the 15th day, you would then start your monthly payment. So you would pay £50 and you will pay £50 every month thereafter. If you're in Southern Ireland, you would pay an annual fee of €240, and that is paid on the day that you sign up, and every year, every 12 months. And then every month you pay €60. And if you're in the United States, the annual fee is $255. And every month you would pay just $75 per month. Now just look at those figures for a moment. You know, you can work out quite quickly there how much you're going to be paying in 1 year. This is such a small amount of money to drive a brand new car. Now, for those people who are new on here, just to let me clarify, we are open in United Kingdom, Southern Ireland, and the United States. We are planning to do our official launch in the United States at the end of May. And once that has happened, we will be very quickly going into Mexico and Canada, and then after that will be Europe. So that will be coming. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, and let's have a look at what the monthly costs include. So £50 every month whilst you're an active member of Privileged Car Club, $75 or just €60. Now this includes your fully comprehensive insurance, your car tax, full new car warranties that come with a brand new car. Breakdown cover is also included. But look at that one, there is no credit check needed. This is because these cars are funded with a very simple crowdfunding concept. That means that when you have qualified and you've built your funding pool to 81 or 125 members, the cash is there. Therefore, we don't need any credit check. We don't need any deposit. We don't need any horrible car finance with high interest. It's all paid for with cash. So just think about how many people are going to be able to join Privileged Car Club when they realise that there's no credit check. So I've been in this situation, and I'm sure many of you have in the past, where unfortunately things don't go too well and you have a bad credit rating. Very, very difficult to get car finance, and if you are able to get it, they really sting you with high interest. Well, those days have gone now. So all of those families, you know, who have been struggling to get the finance together to drive a safe, economical car for their family, those days are now gone because they can join Privileged Car Club. Another game changer for me here is the last point on this slide. There is no mileage penalty. Now, with a lot of car finance deals, there are penalties involved. But with Privileged Car Club, all you have to do is just to make sure that when you give your insurance details over, obviously you know approximately what your mileage is. You just be as accurate as possible. Now, in the UK, the average mileage is about 12,000 per year. Some people will do less and some people will do more. And if you do more, there's no mileage penalty. Okay, let's move on to the next slide and do a couple of price comparisons. So this will blow you away. Now look at this, a lovely new Insignia, but the price is not so lovely. This is an example in the UK. If you lease this, you're paying over £400 per month. Now, thinking of what the average family lives on in the UK, that is a huge amount of money. That's a big, big financial commitment. What happens if one of you loses your job? This is then going to become an absolute nightmare, a complete headache for you. And this car fits into the £20,000 package. Now, with Privileged Car Club, this will cost you just £50 per month plus your annual fee. Just look at those figures for one moment. Think about how much money you can save for you and your family and your loved ones. Let's take a look at the next slide where we've got a really lovely Mercedes. I know that a lot of people, you know, would love to drive one of these. In the UK, it is just one example. You've got to stump up over £5,000 just for the deposit, and then you're paying just under £400 per month. But you're doing that for 36 months. That's a huge, huge amount of money. And one of the biggest problems with these kind of car finance plans is when you go to give your car back, which is normally 3-4 years later, it's not after 2 years normally, the depreciation is so huge that you're just losing out from every angle. Now, this Mercedes C-Class will come into our £30,000 package, and with us you're only paying £50 per month plus the annual fee. Okay, so now hopefully you know the benefits of Privileged Car Club and how the system works. You need to know how to join. So you join with a referral link to the person who has introduced you to this. You pay your annual fee on sign up, and then 15 days later you pay your first monthly fee. And then every month thereafter you pay £50 or €60 or just $75. You use the methods and the systems that I've explained to you in this presentation, and you work with your team and you work towards getting yourself qualified. It's not complicated, it's a straightforward system, it's accessible for everybody over the age of 21, and there is no time limit on this. So some people will come in and they will build their funding pools quite quickly, and that is obviously down to each individual person, and other people will take a little bit longer. I think it's realistic to say that if you come into Privileged Car Club, you need to be looking at this as, say, a long-term goal between 6 and 12 months. But even if it takes you the 12 months, you still, in the UK as an example, you've still spent less than £2,000 per year to drive a brand new car. So let's just move on to the next slide and explain something additional. I mean, having a brand new car to drive for 2 years is just, you know, for most people, this is incredible. This is life-changing. Not just to have the luxury of a brand new car, but to actually save all of that money and put that money to better use. You know, it's all about being smart with our money here. But this is something extra. This is a fantastic part of Privileged Car Club, and this is what we call a re-entry. So this is something extra. This is optional, and you can only re-enter and take advantage of this once you're qualified for your car. So once you've qualified for your car, you can then re-enter, and you can build another funding pool of 81 members. Now, when you re-enter, you pay the annual fee again, but you do not pay the monthly fee again. You just pay the annual fee again for the privilege of re-entering. It works exactly the same. You need 3 direct people in each pool, and you need 20 members per pool, and a total of 81 members. And once you've grown that funding pool to 81 members, you then have £20,000 cash, or €24,000 or $24,000 cash to play with. And you've got 3 options here. You can upgrade your car after 2 years. So what that means is, when you hand in your original car after the 2-year period, if you have built another funding pool, you can actually add another £20,000 on top. So you would then be driving a car of £40,000 or £50,000. But if you don't want to wait for 2 years, if you're quite happy driving a car, I know that I am happy to drive a car of 20,000 or 30,000. You can actually use this funding pool, you can use this cash to get a second car that would fit into the £20,000 package for somebody in your family, for a family member. Or you could take the advertising allowance, which is something that I'm particularly interested in doing. So you've got your brand new car, you're the perfect advert, you're the perfect ambassador for Privileged Car Club. You can then take £1,000 per month or $1,200 or €1,200 as an advertising allowance, so long as that funding pool of 81 is maintained. So I'm just going to bring John in here just to give his comments on what he thinks about this option. Are you there, John?
I am indeed. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Excellent. Yeah, guys, so just to give you a little bit of background from where I've come, okay, I've been working in this online work from home arena for around 13 years now, both offline businesses and online businesses. And I can hand on my heart say that I've never ever come across a concept like this. This isn't about recruiting people to make commissions. This isn't about MLM, network marketing, affiliate marketing, anything like that. It's something really refreshing. And when Mirelle first showed me this back in October, it did take me a little bit of time to wrap my head around it because I'd never seen anything like this. And my initial thought was, this sounds too good to be true. But I didn't allow that first thought to rule my final decision. And that's the difference, okay? I dug in. I took some time. I jumped on a lot of webinars. I asked a lot of questions. And I got started in the middle of October of 2017. But I didn't do anything until I actually went to a presentation, which we had the opportunity to do in January. We're going to go over that a little bit later. And I went there to see the whites of Andy Wall's eyes, to meet the corporate team and to get my head around this whole vision of what this concept is all about. When I first figured out the funding pools, okay, so you build your funding pools to 81 for 20,000 or 125 if you want to go for the 30,000, $24,000 euros or $36,000 euros. Once I figured that out, I thought, what an absolutely genius idea, because by day I'm a window cleaner. I have a 7-year-old Mercedes van that I drive around on my day job. And although it's now my van, I've paid it all off, it still costs me an awful lot of money to keep maintained, to service, to have new tyres. I went out to work a few weeks ago and I got my first job of the day done, jumped back in my van, turned the ignition and it didn't start. And I couldn't get my van started. So I had to get the relay, the recovery people out, take you back to my local garage, get it put in the garage, and they told me it was a starter motor had gone on it. So not only did I lose a day's work, I also lost £280 for a brand new starter motor. Thank you very much. Now, that made me realise, to be able to drive a brand new car every 2 years is just an absolute no-brainer because, let's face it, a brand new car is not going to have too many issues over a 2-year period. Then, as Mirelle's just explained, this re-entry option. So once we've got our vehicles, once we've built those initial funding pools, job done, you're in the car, you're driving it around for the next 2 years, and you can take this re-entry if you choose, completely and utterly your choice. But if you want to build a re-entry and these free options, okay, I've signed my son up. I've got my son signed up as a PCC member. He's only 20 years old. He's turning 21 at the end of July. And we're building him a funding pool to hopefully get him to the £20,000 vehicle for his 21st birthday. Because he's already been driving his car since he was 18. His first year's insurance was over £2,500. It's now around £1,500 a year. Okay. So when he hits 21 and he becomes age allowed to become a member of PCC at the age of 21, he's going to have a funding pool built. Or touch wood, we're going to work hard, we're going to get him a funding pool built. And he's going to drive a brand new car for £50 a month. Now, what's that going to do? That's going to make people ask him and everybody that's driving a brand new car, how on earth did you do that? Morel is getting close to qualifying herself. And she's going to go from a 20-year-old Nissan Micra into a brand new £20,000 car. People are going to naturally ask, how on earth have you done that? And this is where this re-entry comes in. People are going to be asking, you can then send them your link, you can send them your Teams link once you've found your free, you can help your people to start building their funding pools. Again, something amazing, what I love about this concept. You can build up to another £20,000 package or a second car. That just blows my mind. I could build another package now that I can get my wife a second car or a car for £20,000. But I will still only be paying £50 a month for 2 cars because I will have qualified. I then take the re-entry and build a funding pool for my wife's car. Still only £150 a month for 2 cars. Or, as Ramel said, the advertising bonus. It's just a complete win-win. And this thing, the more we get involved with this, the more deeper we understand it, the better it's getting. So, with that being said, I just want to say, guys, we are going to get a Q&A. I see there's a few of you got your hands up. Keep them up because we will come back to you once the presentation's finished. We will be doing the Q&A. So, Morel, let's hand it back to you and we'll get this wrapped up very shortly, folks.
Okay, thanks, John. Yeah, that's very true. I'm going to go from it's actually more than 20 years old, I think. 20-year-old Nissan Micra. I'm going to go from an old car to a brand new 20k car. And I tell you, I cannot wait to rock up at the school gates. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm very soon going to be ordering my car, so it won't be too long. Okay, let's move on to the next slide and just do a quick recap. So once you are qualified, you get to choose the fun part, which is where I'm at now. So you can choose the model and spec per your budget, and you get your car ordered, which is all taken care of by Privileged Car Club. The club is the owner of the car, and they pay the tax and insurance. And you are the qualified registered keeper of the car, and also an ambassador for Privileged Car Club. And then, if you want to, you can repeat and re-enter, which we just went through, because you're now a qualified club ambassador, and you can re-enter to build a second car funding, you can build an upgrade pot of cash, or you can re-enter to receive the advertising allowance. But you can only do those 3 things if you are a qualified driver for Privileged Car Club. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, there's a lovely photo there of me and John, and Andy Wall, our CEO, is there in the middle. And this photo was taken back in January when we decided to make the 7-hour round trip in one day. We wanted to go to this meeting so we could actually meet Andy and the other directors of the Privileged Car Club. It was an incredible event. There were a couple of, I think about 200 people. There's quite a few hundred people there. I can't remember the exact number. But once we got there, it was standing room only. And yeah, it just totally blew us away. It was amazing to hear how Privileged Car Club started. It was actually an idea that Andy has had from over 20 years ago, but he felt at that time it was not the right time to launch. And thankfully, thank goodness, he launched it just started last August. And if we go on to the next slide, we should be able to see some more of the team. So it was great. We got to meet other people from Privileged Car Club. And this is just a few people. We've got on the right-hand side, you can see Alan with his wife Jan. Alan is the very first member to qualify in the UK, which we'll come on to in a moment. There's also Evelyn there, and Fola, Sharon, and Karen, and Derek. So just a handful of the people that we got to meet. So yeah, this is where it all kind of started, really. And, you know, like I said, there's a lot of these meetings happening, and it's increasing now. It's increasing since we've had the official launch, which we'll get onto in a moment. We are having these meetings all over the UK and in Ireland and in the United States. So I urge you to get yourself to one of these, because this is where you really get an understanding for what we have here. And you know, you'll come out of there absolutely buzzing, and you'll be wanting to tell the whole world. So just, you know, make that effort and get yourself along to one of the meetings. So up until last weekend, we've been building up to the launch in the UK. I'm absolutely thrilled to say that last weekend we had the official launch in the UK in Birmingham on Sunday the 1st. Wow, what an event. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was probably one of the best things that I've ever done. It was incredible. John and I were there with quite a few people from our team. So that was really amazing to meet up with them. And there were over 400 people at this event. So as you can imagine, it was an incredible event with lots of energy. It was very dynamic. It was superb to be there. And those were the 3 cars. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the proof, guys. These 3 cars are the first Privileged Car Club cars that are now out on UK roads. So Alan, he took possession of the Audi Q3. That was my favourite. I loved that car. Prem had his Volkswagen Passat, and Devon took his lovely Mercedes. So all of these cars come within the £30,000 package, or 36,000 euros or dollars. But what's brilliant is that because these cars are being paid for with cash, it means that Privileged Car Club are able to negotiate a discount. And I know that Prem's car was actually worth 36 grand. Now, there's no guarantee, of course, that you will get a big discount like that. But the chances are that you will get a discount because the club are paying cash for these. Now look at those beautiful cars. And they are just paying the annual fee, and then every single month they're paying a really small amount, £50, €60 or $75 to drive a brand new car worth over £30,000. Who would not be interested in this? It was just brilliant. We saw the cars outside the venue, and then after the event we saw Devon and Prem and Alan actually got handed the keys, and they were able to drive them home. So it really was, you know, a day that in my opinion will go down in history. There's a few other photos. You can see Prem and Devon there with their keys in their car, very, very happy, big smiles on their faces. In the middle, you can see John there with Ali Mabani. What a nice guy he is. He's our first member from the United States to qualify. And yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to meet him. And he flew over for the event with some other people from the United States. So it was very, very exciting. And then there's me at the bottom with my husband and with Fola. She's in our team. She's very active member of Privileged Car Club. She's started to do her own events now in the Essex area, and I was handed my token key as I've now qualified, so I can now start looking to see which part I would like to take. So it was an absolutely brilliant day. John, would you like to jump in and give your feedback on the launch?
Yeah, absolutely. This was the proof in the pudding, the proof that this concept works, that we all wanted to see, we all wanted to touch those cars, we wanted to see them in the flesh. And yeah, it was well worth the travel, the journey up. We had the hotel for the night. You know, we got to spend some time that evening with Andy Wall and the following day with Andy and obviously some of the other folks that were at the event. But just a brilliant, brilliant event. I've been to a lot of events over the years. But obviously this is, like I said before, something different. This is a different type of concept. This is crowdfunding, people helping people to escape the chains of car finance. Because let's face it, we all love and cherish our cars. But, you know, ordinarily, we wouldn't ever really, the majority of us wouldn't ever really be able to perceive owning a brand new car. I've done it once in my adult life. When in our late 20s, we chose a brand new Mazda, tied ourselves up into a car finance package for 3 years. And although it was a lovely car, it did become a burden, because not only were we paying, you know, 300 odd pounds a month for the car finance, we were still having to take it back every 6 months and pay for the servicing. We were still having to pay for our own insurance, you know, and, you know, it just doesn't make sense. You know, when you realize that this is a fantastic option, all you need to do is have a little bit of an open mind and a little bit of a work ethic to introduce, to share this to other people. Because like I said before, once people realize that a car is a depreciating asset, who really would want to own a car anymore? Okay, I know, you know, my mind has been completely turned around this last few months. I don't ever want to own a car, own my own car ever again. I would rather pay the £50 a month, drive a PCC car, you know, and over the coming years, as this company grows and we go out and we build re-entry positions, we can increase the values of those cars. We can get a newer car, maybe a £50,000 car in 2 years, maybe a 70 or a £90,000. It's not going to be long. I guarantee it's not going to be long until people in this privileged car club are going to be driving some pretty luxurious vehicles and still only paying £50 or $75 a month. And that excites me massively, because once that starts happening, how many millions and millions of drivers are out there in the world? Right now, I think it's around 33 million in the UK, over 330 million in the US. You know, we're going into Canada, we're going to Mexico, we're going to be going into Europe. And this is just the first step. Now, when people say, yeah, but this isn't sustainable, think of the bigger picture. Think of the next time you're on a motorway, how many cars you're driving past. And that's happening in every single developed country in this world. And I just think it's a no-brainer. We're starting with cars. It might well go to a stage where we can start doing bikes, where we can start doing motorhomes or RVs, as the guys out in the US call them. You know, there are no limits to where we can take this. Personally, I really want to go to boats as well, because I'm a big boat fan. And one day, hopefully, we may be able to crowdfund a boat. But, you know, it's just the start. We are just at the very beginning of this thing. And all anyone really needs to do is have an open mind to be able to share it with 3 people and commit to sharing it with 3 people. And those 3 share it with 3, and so on and so on. And sooner or later, everybody, I think, that's got their mind switched right will be driving PCC cars. So back to you, Morel. Let's get these last few slides done.
Thank you, John. So yeah, do you want to move on to the next one? Okay, lovely. So just a couple more slides to go, and then we'll get into the Q&A. So sit tight. Okay, so this is just like a summary of what we were presented with at the launch. So that first picture you can see there is the brand new Privileged Car Club presentation. So we will get hold of those slides when they become available, so we can incorporate that into our webinars. And John showed you the new video at the beginning of this presentation. So there's lots of new videos and marketing material coming out. We got to hear from all of the directors, so Morris, obviously Andy himself, and Nadia. Graham was also there, but unfortunately he hasn't been very well, so he wasn't able to actually get up on stage and speak. We had brilliant presentation from Chris and Gurpreet, which they are our phenomenal IT guys, which they never seem to sleep. They are just working so hard in the background. You know, we already have a great website and a fantastic back office, but there's lots more to come, guys. So they're basically working on more advanced tools so that, like Chris described it, as smart technology, so that everything flows seamlessly. So as we grow and we get bigger and bigger, we will have lots of tools there to help speed things up. So just to give you an example, There's going to be like an email in the back office. You'll be able to send out directly to prospects. This email, this video, sorry, the new video will also be on that email as well. Okay, so there's going to be lots of lots of new features. We also met for the first time Martin Congleton, I think his surname was. He is our very, very important compliance guy. So anytime you hear Andy Wall talk or present about Privileged Car Club, it's very, very clear that they have spent months and months and months and months making sure that everything is compliant, legally compliant. They get advice from all the relevant experts. And yes, Martin was there explaining to us that they are speaking with one of the world's largest insurance companies. Now, they can't give the name at the moment because they're working on a deal. But these are the kind of things that are going on in the background. There are a lot of people interested in Privileged Car Club, believe you me. And he also spoke about the fact that we're going to have even more member benefits. I mean, if a car wasn't enough, I'm quite happy with what we've got already. But they are going to be bringing in monthly member benefits. So just to give you an example, he was allowed to mention the names Argos and Halfords, which are in the UK. There'll be some kind of voucher system, I believe. He mentioned Disney, and he mentioned an orange retailer, part of the home retail group. So there's going to be some incredible benefits coming. So this is, you're here right at the beginning. We've only literally just got started. We also, this was a really lovely part of the event. We actually now have a Privileged Car Club song, it was amazing. This written and sung by this lovely young man called Danny Boyle. So yeah, you'll be able to hear this very soon. So just watch this space. You'll be able to. It will be available, I believe, on the website. So that was great to hear that. And we also heard from Max Garza, who is from the United States. So he flew over, and he was here for a few days. Now, I don't want to speak too much about this, but just to mention that there is going to be a PC car coin, which Max and his team, they're all ICO specialists. They created the Dragon coin. They are going to be launching this pre-sale car coin. So for those of you who are into cryptocurrency, this is another benefit of Privileged Car Club as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. And there we have some photos of some of the team. So there's John there with JJ. So JJ travelled down with John from London. So that was great to meet up with him. I'd not met him before, so that was superb. And there's me with Karen. So Karen is the lady who introduced me to Privileged Car Club last year. And there's the lovely Sarah as well. And that's just, obviously, we got to meet a lot more people, but we just thought we'd show you a couple of the photos. And this is the best one of all. That's Max Garza III at the front. Look at that. I love that photo. You can see how many people were in that room. It was, it was just a phenomenal event. And that selfie, to me, that just says it all. You can see there the energy and how everyone is just so excited. And yeah, that photo has gone viral. So yeah, I love that. Okay, let's move on to the last slide. So there is no doubt in my mind that Privileged Car Club is going to totally disrupt the car industry as we know it. They will help families all over the world to save thousands of pounds, dollars and euros every single month, every single year. Families like myself will be able to drive a brand new, safe and economical car, saving thousands of pounds every year, giving us a higher disposable income, easing that financial burden. I, for one, feel very privileged that I was introduced to this car club. So please make sure that you get back to the person who shared this webinar with you today and make sure that you join us. And I'm just going to leave the last slide for John.
Okay, thanks, Morel. Great presentation as always. Right, so guys, Privileged Car Club, it has launched. It is happening, and we encourage you to get back to whoever invited you. If you're a guest tonight, and get back to whoever invited you to get their link, to get yourself started, and start helping. We all help one another. Okay, well, the reason me and Morel are doing these webinars 3 times a week is so that you guys can invite your friends, people that you know will be interested in this concept. But there's something else, okay? Privileged Car Club wasn't Andy Wall's first vision. His initial vision for this crowdfunding concept is Privileged House Club. Now, try and wrap your heads around that. Crowdfunding houses. Andy's all about helping people escape the things that we're all chained to in finance. So let's face it, the biggest chain in our lives is our mortgage, right? Is, you know, the house. But Andy realised that not a lot of people would actually be able to, you know, comprehend crowdfunding a house. So hence why Privileged Car Club was brought to the forefront, because people will be able to work their heads, will be able to understand a privileged car, a crowdfunding concept to cars. Now, Andy has stated that when we have over 500 cars, when we have 500 cars out there on the roads in any of the countries that are operational, that is when he will disclose more information about Privileged House Club. And I personally can't wait. I've literally just moved house this weekend into a very nice new house. Myself and my mum, we've all clubbed together and we've bought a lovely house so we can all live there together under one roof. But I can't wait for Privileged House Club to happen. I've just signed myself up for a 20-year mortgage now, and I'm chomping at the bit to find out how Privileged House Club will work. So all we need to do is keep sharing, is keep speaking to people about Privileged Car Club. Get those 500 cars out on the road. You know, we might be onto motorbikes by then. We might be into camper vans. You know, there's no limit to where we can take this concept. Morel already touched on the member benefits. We've got companies like Argos. We've got companies like Halfords. We've got another rather well-known company in the US called Walt Disney. Okay, all coming to Privileged Car Club to offer our membership special benefits. Okay, so for those people that are wondering, you know, what do I get for my £50 when I've not built my funding pool yet? This is what is going to be the answer. It's these benefits, the club membership benefits. But let's face it, right? Privileged House Club is going to be something that I, for one, am going to be very open to looking at. And when we have those 500 cars out there on the road, those people are all going to be more open-minded to how this is going to work, right? So this is why I'm totally excited about being a member of this private members club, about being involved in this crowdfunding economy. They call it the collaborative economy, the sharing economy. Soon it will just be a part of the economy as we know it. Because millennials, they do this stuff day in and day out. They share their cars, they share journeys, they rent their cars out at weekends if they're not using them. There is a website out there that you can actually go and purchase meals from other people's homes. So say there's a Spaniard living around the corner and he loves cooking. He can put up his meals on a website and he can cook authentic food and have it delivered to you locally. Or the other option, you can even go around to people's houses and eat authentic cooked food. There are so many things happening out there in the world, and I didn't realise it until I started digging in to what crowdfunding is all about, and I encourage you all to do that. Go onto YouTube, type in crowdfunding, the collaborative economy, the sharing economy. Go to a very good series by TEDx. Type TEDx crowdfunding, and you'll get a whole plethora of great videos giving you examples of just how massive this industry is becoming, because people are fed up out there of being tied to the banks. The banks don't have money. The banks have our money, and they use our money in whatever way they choose, because as soon as we've invested our money into a bank account, they're free to do with it what they want. Lend it to someone else, charge extremely high interest rates, and that's where they make their millions and millions that pay for all those bankers' bonuses and the huge skyscrapers in the cities. Let's do something for us. Let's take the power back Let's get involved in crowdfunding, and in the future, we're all going to be incredibly happy. But we've got to view this with an open mind. Get involved, do your due diligence, get started, share this concept with as many people as you can. I'm going to keep sharing. Even when I'm funding my pool, I'm going to keep sharing, because the more people we help, the better for all of us. So with that being said, we want to say thanks, guys, for jumping on tonight, and realise we're getting close to an hour now. So what we're going to do next is we're going to open it up for Q&A, and see we've got a couple of raised hands. So I'm going to go to the one that's been up there all night. So the Galaxy S6, there's no name on there, but I'm going to unmute you. And if you want to ask your question, just tell us who you are, where you're calling in from, please. Hello, can you hear us? Okay, let's try Dante then. Let's try Dante. I'm going to unmute you, Dante. Can you hear us? Hello? Yeah, I hear you. Have you got a question for us?
Yes, hello. Yeah.
Hi, Dante. Hi, go for your question. Where are you calling in from?
I am Dante from Dublin, Ireland.
Hey, welcome aboard. Welcome.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, what other network marketing that you could put, like after you qualify or you join the PCC, you have to get at least 3 direct, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, fine.
Can
Share
you
this
do-
concept with 3 people. Yeah.
My question is, can you do that with another name from you or another account, or you have to, like, just one account allowed, and then after you get your car, that's the time you give that unlimited entry for the ambassador? Yeah.
Yeah, you only need 1 account, Dante. So with that 1 account, you share the concept with 3 people. And as soon as you have your 3 people joined in 3 separate legs, okay, you have to have 1 in each leg, then you get started. You help those 3 people. And,
Sorry, I understand that particular, but are you allowed to get more than 1 account for the first time? Like, in the network marketing, when you see the comp plan is very good, they usually get the first 3 are themselves as well. So you got 4 accounts, and then you put a lot of people underneath. Is that allowed or not?
I wouldn't suggest it, no, personally. There's no need for it, because we're not getting paid on any commissions on introducing people here. There's no monetary benefit to bringing in hundreds and hundreds of people. But the real benefit to bringing in as many people as you can is because once you've got your 3, then you're helping those 3 to get their people. So if you bring in 6, 7, 9 people, you can place those people under your 3 initial members. You see, it's exactly what myself and Morel are doing. We've found our 3 pretty quickly. We're not massive team builders. We're not hugely experienced team builders, but we found our 3 people that said yes, they want to join. And everyone that we're bringing in now, we're simply giving them the links to the people who have joined with us, because there's no benefit monetarily. We just want to build a funding pool to 81 members as quickly as possible. If you want to push on to the 125 to get the 30K car, then all well and good. So it's a case of focus on 1 account. There's no need for 2 accounts. Just keep pushing people in, just keep sharing the concept, bringing them onto the webinars, let myself and Morel do the presentations, and hopefully we can answer everyone's questions so that they feel comfortable about getting involved.
Yes, I understand. Thank you so much. I'm just asking that question because some of the people want to go like 2 accounts, and then it's like you only need 3 anyway. So you're gonna build your marketing on those 3 anyway. So
there's no real benefit to it. The only thing I would suggest is that some of us, like myself,
the second car from that account.
Yeah, but
after you build everything.
Yeah, well, so you could do something like what I've done. I signed up as a member, and my son has joined as well. Okay, he paid his membership, his annual membership, and his monthlies, and I'm helping him basically to get his.
That's what I'm saying.
I get a car. We all get a car.
It's not really your name. You can put your wife or your son for your 3.
Yeah. Yeah, that has been done. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, JJ, I'm going to unmute you, buddy.
How
Hi,
you doing, John? Right. Hello?
Yeah, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. I'm just gonna ask a few questions. It's from somebody that I know from beforehand, and he had a few questions, and he was asking me those questions. I just wanted to just relay and ask you some of the questions he had in mind. The first question he asked is if someone cancels and decides to cancel or not go ahead, what happens to your actual tree? Does that person drop off and it drops off someone else's tree onto yours? How does it actually work?
So if one of your personals you're talking about?
If if one of your personals were to decide to drop out
Yeah.
and not with the business, how is that space refilled again? You
It's
have to
not
go out
filled,
and
it becomes what's called a ghost position. Okay, so it just becomes a blank spot.
Okay.
All right, I've got a couple in my tree at the moment. It's just literally, for whatever reason, people have decided that they don't want to carry on, and they just close their accounts. That spot then goes from their name just to a PCC blank. It's called a ghost position. So, I just carry on regardless, carry on growing my funding pool to 81 members.
Oh, so you just continue to go to 81 members.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, that's fine. The second question he had as well, he wanted to find out. He was asking basically to have your car, you need 81 people. Like to have your £20,000 car, right? You need 81 people in your funding, in your trip, in your organization, right? What he was saying is that, for example, if you were to get at least those 81 people driving on the road, you would need at least 65,000 people to have just 81 cars on the road. He was concerned about that. And I was thinking to myself, okay, great question. Let me ask it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, mate, Morel, do you want to add on to this one? Okay, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said in the presentation, there's over 330 million drivers in the US, 33 million drivers in the UK. Okay,
Correct.
you're never going to get to a stage where this thing becomes, what's the word? No, the words completely got out of my head. So I was trying to think of, but it's never going to get to a stage where there's not enough people out there. Okay, some people are going to build their funding pools in 3 months. Okay, they're going to get through that first 3 months and they're going to have it done, like Mr. Ali Mavani out in the US. Other people are going to take 6 to 12 months. I personally am looking at doing this in 6 to 12 months. Okay. Now, I don't focus on the bigger picture. I focus on what I'm trying to achieve. So my 81, my 125, and then helping those. Because once you take a re-entry, what happens? Okay, once you take a re-entry, you're placed in the weakest part of your funding pool. Because, like I said, everyone's going to have a different skill. Those three legs of the funding pool that we're building are all going to grow at different speeds. And once we take a re-entry, we'll put in the weaker part of those legs. So we're then going to get to work and start helping those people get qualified. And that's what I love about this. I don't think about the bigger numbers. I just think about the job in hand, what I need to do to get qualified, what I need to do to help my people get qualified. And that's all I look at. Morel, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's totally the wrong way to look at it, because we've only just started, and like you say, there are millions and millions of drivers, and only a fraction of them know about Privileged Car Club. So once they all start to know about it, I'm not going to be sitting there thinking, I'm not going to be sitting there calculating how many thousands of people we all need between us. You just need to concentrate on your pool of 81. And what is so brilliant is like now I'm qualified, for example, because we have this, and this was very, very carefully thought out in the beginning. Each of my 3 funding pools have at least 20 members in, otherwise I couldn't be qualified. So that means they're already 25% towards get in their car. So it's not like I'm qualified and they're only sitting there with one or two people. That's why it's been designed in this way. So.
And Gary makes a good point out in the US. Gary's put in here, the maths is not correct. Those numbers are not how this works, because there is overlap in all those 81 people. We're overlapping. So we're all helping to create the funding pools for every single level of membership within our funding pool. Okay, they're all overlapping. So I'm paying my £50 a month, which is helping the next person above me get to their funding pool. And for example, Prem has now got his car. He's got this lovely VW Passat out there, driving it for £50 a month. He was the second person to qualify, but his membership number was in the 70s. So he did a phenomenal job. He got busy. He did lots of presentations, introduced it to a lot of people, built his funding pool quicker than a lot of the people that he joined before him. Okay. But now he's still paying his £50 a month, and that is going towards the people above him who are still building their funding pools. So it's a win-win. We're all helping one another. Saturation just cannot happen, because we're
you know what it is that some people are going to have these questions, you see.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to be prepared 100%. Okay, that's how it works. That's how this and blah, blah, blah. Just to make sure that it's, that they've got this from the get-go as well.
Hopefully that's helped you understand, mate.
No, brilliant. Thank you very much for that. You actually had one more question, but I think, to be honest with you, I know the answer to this one, I think, but I'm going to ask it anyway. We wanted to find out as well, with 81 people paying their memberships over the course of, is it 2 years, or is it, like, for example, if, like, when you pay your first initial amount of £200 and you pay £50 per month to maintain your membership, what he wanted to know is, when you qualify for your car, say you qualify for your £20,000 car with 81 people, okay, the amount of money put in would be a lot more than the car is actually worth. But he wanted to know where the money would go. But I said the money's going to go back into the club to help other people fund their cars as well. So it's a win-win again, isn't it? Hello?
Yeah, sorry, my internet was dropping out a little bit. Yeah, absolutely right. Morel, do you want to go on that one? I've just got some questions here to answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got all the figures written down here, JJ, so I can send them to you. So yes, when you have a funding pool of 81 members, you have more than the £20,000 than you need, but within that 81, as I mentioned before, the 3 funding pools which form part of my 81, they've got at least 20 members in there, so they're 25% towards getting their car. So some of that money is going to be put towards their cars. But this is a really good question. It's one of the questions that I asked when I first joined. But I'll send it to you, JJ, because you can actually work out, for example, you're paying your £50. How can I explain this? If you qualify with this is not the typical situation, but if you qualify within 3 months, you've actually paid £50 on the 15th day, and then you pay another 3 months. You times that by the £50 times the 4 for all 81. That actually works out over £16,000. When you look at the annual fee times 81 and you add that on top, you're looking at over £60,000. So it's not something I can easily explain to you on a webinar, but I will send you the figures, JJ. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that. Fine. It's just another question that he asked as well, and I just thought, I want to make sure that he's fully filled in. Thank you very much for that, man. It's excellent.
No problem.
Welcome, JJ.
All right, Mirel, do you want to say the next one? We've got Paul Nolte's got his hand up. I'll unmute you, Paul.
Okay.
Can you hear us, Paul?
Are you there, Paul?
Okay.
No.
Right, maybe that was a mistake. So Yeah, something else to bear in mind, folks, obviously, is just think about how many people are turning 21 every year, like Patrick mentioned in the comments. Okay, we've got any more questions to go over? Can't see any new ones. So, guys, if anyone's got any more questions, feel free to unmute yourselves or put your hand up. Oh, Paul's got his hand up again. Let's try again. Paul, I'm going to unmute you. Can you hear us? No. Okay.
Hello.
Ah,
Hello.
hi. Is that Paul?
No, it's Prezo. It's Johan.
Oh, Prezzo. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for the plan. Yeah, obviously it's a vision. I think it's really coming to its, to its level of coming into shape. What was sort of like mixing up, like that guy who was asking about the 81 people. Obviously, if you focus on helping people and working on the 3 people, it will then just duplicate itself. What I was worried about is I hope, like I put a question earlier when you were presenting, that you're working ahead of it, because give an example of 500,000 cars. If 500,000 people eventually subscribe, it will sort of like explode, and you need to sort of work on, because everybody will eventually see it as a doable thing and eventually want a car.
Yeah.
So you mean that the 81 people will just fill up within time?
Absolutely.
So are you looking at that, the consequences of what is going to happen? Because obviously it eventually is going to explode, because people see it the opposite. They don't really, like, at first they become skeptic, but if you learn to deal the legs properly, then the right things that you're told, eventually it just sort of duplicates itself.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And this is what the great thing about this concept. And as we get stronger, and as people become asset rich and cash rich, they're going to get better deals. We're going to get this global insurance policy that's going to drive down insurance costs for us all as well. We've got the membership deal. We've got, it just gets better and better and better. And, I, for one, I don't focus on the detail. I'm not a detail-orientated person. I focus on the job that I need to do for myself, for my funding pool, and for my team members' funding pools. And that's all I want to focus on, is helping, get my 81, and then helping those 81 one by one get to their qualifications so that they can all get behind the wheel of a brand new car. That's all I focus on. So we've got Paul in here that just asked a question. Sound's not working for some reason. Just wanted to know, is there a limit on how many you can put in your pool, for example, if you want a 50 or 60k car, or even a 100k car? Right, Paul, so there are no limits to how many you can take. So there are also no limits on how many members you can bring into Privileged Car Club, because at the end of the day, you just need 3. But for example, myself and Morel, we're still building, we're still introducing this new concept to new people. We're still giving those people to our team members to help them build their funding pools. Once we get qualified, Morel's practically there now, and she'll take her choice of a car. Once I get to my choice of a car, once anyone gets their choice of a car, they're sitting behind that wheel. You can take the re-entry position and build another 81 members to get the free options. So an additional 20k, advertiser bonus, or another car for 20k, all within that £50. And you can take another re-entry and another re-entry and another re-entry. It doesn't matter. There's no limit on how many people you can bring in. There's no limit on how many re-entries you can take. Also, I need to know what happens 2 years when the club becomes car rich. How are the shares distributed, and can either pay member get shares? So you're going to qualify members to receive shares. Right. The detail on the shares membership hasn't been given at this stage. Okay, there are going to be shares available, and as we move forwards, more detail will be coming out. We've actually got Bill Wilmot on the line, so I'm going to unmute Bill. Hi, Bill. How you doing, buddy?
I'm really good, thanks, John. How are you?
Yeah, very good, mate. Did you have a question, or did you want to add to?
Good observation, really. First of all, I want to say you guys do a fantastic presentation. It's going really well. It came across really well.
Thanks, mate.
Good stuff for you. I just wanted to talk about the community spirit of the membership, really, because you touched on earlier regarding how we get our 3 people, and then we help our teams. So we're working together really. And I can see that Paul's obviously on the call tonight. Now, Paul's actually spilled to me. Okay, so I've got my 3. I'm not far off really hitting my 81. Yeah. So I'm already helping my team, and anyone I spilling to me, including Paul. So I had a guy recently join, and I actually put him under Paul, who I haven't met, who's not directly sponsored by me. Yeah. And I actually met him at the meeting last weekend. And I've been trying to reach him to find out what his link was, so I can make sure that someone went on there. So I just wanted to emphasize really, this is all about working together as a team. You don't have to get the whole 81. It's about getting your 3 and then working with your 3 and then working with their 3 and so on. So we're all working together for the same aim, which was to help people get a car for £50 a month, saving thousands, saving on depreciation, and all the other things that comes with owning a car these days. Yeah. I just wanted to add my tuppence in to the conversation, if that's okay.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Exactly right. This is about a crowdfunding club. Okay. We are all working together. We are working as a group of people, helping one another to escape the chain of car finance. For those like myself, I'm not actually entitled to car finance anymore. But I do have all the attributed costs of car ownership. So I'm driving a car, a van that is, you know, getting older by the day. And as it gets older, there will be more and more service requirements, more breakdowns, I dare say, new tyres and all the rest of it that come from owning a vehicle. So it's a brilliant philosophy, a brilliant concept. I'm absolutely buzzing about the future. Morel, have you got any other points you want to make, or should we get this one wrapped up for the night?
I just want to say that you called Bill Paul.
All right, Paul, Bill, Morel. Sorry, it's been a long weekend, guys. What can I say? It's been a very tiresome and long weekend. I do apologise.
You're getting old, John. No, I don't have anything constructive to add. I was just being sarcastic.
Yeah, well, what can I say? What can I say? Sorry, Bill. I don't again, mate. Right, guys, listen. So hopefully you've got something for tonight's presentation. Thanks for jumping on. I'm going to pack up my echoey house and I'm going to head back to my new home now and back to internet. Well, there's no internet there at all. So if you want to message me, hopefully I'll catch up with you tomorrow. But with that being said, I'm going to share this new presentation one more time, and we will see you again on, where are we? I don't even know where we are. We'll see you again on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. UK time. Thanks ever so much for jumping on, and we'll see you on the next one. Zoomshow.live, 9 p.m. UK time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, John.
We are living in an amazing era, teeming with technology and new ideas. New concepts, together with people power, are changing the world we live in. We would like to introduce you to a revolutionary crowdfunding club concept for driving new cars, designed to help people, especially those with families. We love our cars. Most of us desire and treasure them. They are an essential part of our lives. We use them for work and pleasure. But what's the problem? Repairs, fuel, insurance? You can say goodbye to 20% or more of your income with these. Then there's depreciation, as well as the high interest on finance. That's if you can get credit. But what if we can show you a revolutionary new way to solve this problem by helping one another? With Privileged Car Club, we can. It's new and it's radical. It's an idea whose time has come. Using our unique membership program, we have found the answers to these problems by helping each other. By joining our private members' reward-based crowdfunding club. PCC plus people equals PCC cars. You don't own them, but you help fund them, so you get to drive them. There are no large deposits, no extortionate monthly interest payments, no depreciation. A small regular monthly payment takes care of all costs, except for fuel and cleaning. You just enjoy a brand new car of your choice every 2 years. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true! We already have members driving their brand new cars on the road, and we have a fast-growing membership. New cars are being added every month. All of this from our humble beginnings in August 2017 in the UK. And more countries are opening up soon. With Privileged Car Club's community membership, expensive car costs are a thing of the past. Welcome to the future. Contact a member who will help you and show you how you can drive a brand new PCC car of your choice every 2 years. Not only that, but as a PCC ambassador, you can build a career just by helping others do the same as you. This is an option available for you to choose as soon as you are driving a PCC car. Be part of the future. Be part of PCC.